Hi, welcome to Ocean Yomi's channel. So today I'm going to talk about Marcellus Williams, or I'm going to give a brief talk about it, possibly. This came across my timeline like a week ago about Marcellus Williams. I did actually look into him. I was going to actually do a live on him, but then I think yesterday I found that he was on a live by the state. Um, his I know his son has spoken out. I want to show a bit of his son spoken up. I can find it. It's not even there. It's not even there. So I'm gonna play this instead. Okay. Can't play that one. Hold on a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. So I'm gonna play this. Come on, everything's resetted on my thing, so I'm a bit lost. Okay, let me play this. I think slowing down today. What's going on?
Explainer. News. Death penalty. Why was Marcellus Williams executed? What to know about the Missouri case? Marcellus Williams has been executed in Missouri, despite objections from prosecutors and though the family of the woman he allegedly murdered agreed to his life imprisonment. Death row inmate Marcellus Williams is pictured in this undated handout photo file, Reuters. Save articles to read later and create your own reading list. Marcellus Williams, a 55-year-old man whose murder conviction was called into question by a prosecutor, has been executed by lethal injection. Williams was put to death shortly after 2300 hours o'clock GMT on Tuesday at a prison in Bonne Terre in Missouri, despite objections from prosecutors who sought to have his conviction overturned, and even though the family of the woman he was accused of having murdered had agreed to life imprisonment for Williams. Keep reading. List of 1 item. List 1 of 1. Marcellus Williams executed in Missouri despite conviction doubts. End of list. This comes as inmates on death row in 5 U.S. states are set to be executed within a week. Here is what we know about Williams, the case, and the death penalty in the United States. Who was Marcellus Williams? Williams, a black man, was a devout Muslim, an imam for prisoners and a poet, according to his legal team. Advertisement. He spent 23 years in prison, and during his time he devoted much of his time to studying Islam and writing poetry, according to the Innocence Project, a nonprofit that works with people whom it believes have been wrongly convicted. Sign up for Al Jazeera. America's Coverage Newsletter. U.S. Politics, Canada's multiculturalism, South America's geopolitical rise. We bring you the stories that matter. Please check your email to confirm your subscription. By signing up, you agree to our privacy policy. Protected by ReCAPTCHA. He also acted as the imam for Muslim inmates at Potosi Correctional Center and was referred to as Khalifa, which means leader in Arabic. Williams's last statement, on September 21st, was, "All praise be to Allah in every situation." Federal for Williams said his faith was a large part of his identity and that he regretted not finding it earlier in life. He became religious while he was in prison. William accused of 1. William was convicted for the murder of Felicia Gale, a former newspaper reporter and a social worker, who was found stabbed to death in her home in 19. August 8, noticed the shower running and a butcher knife. When Gale came to tears, she was stabbed 4 times, and her purse and her husband's laptop were stolen. Advertisement. Authorities said that during that wore a jacket to hide blood on his shirt. His girlfriend questioned why he wore a jacket on such a hot day and later saw a purse and laptop in his car. Williams sold the laptop a day or two afterwards. Prosecutors also presented testimony from Henry Cole, who shared a cell with Williams in 1999 while Williams was jailed for an armed robbery of a donut shop. Cole claimed that Williams confessed to the murder and provided specific details. What did Williams's defense argue? Lawyers argued that there was no forensic evidence connecting Williams to the crime scene and that the murder weapon had been mishandled, casting doubt on the DNA evidence. Testing showed that DNA on the knife belonged to members of the prosecutor's office who handled it without gloves after the original crime lab tests.
They messed up
According to a report by the Associated Press, Williams's defense also argued that both the girlfriend and Henry Cole had felony According to local media reports, Williams did sell a laptop computer that was stolen from his home, but the local evidence from his girl witness died in the intervening years. Over the from executions in 2015 and 2017, but this did not result in his returned. Bell also said that a prosecutor had improperly rejected black potential jurors. Bell said in a statement on Tuesday. There were multiple points in the timeline when decisions could have been made that have steered him. Williams made and Williams. Questions about the DNA led Bell to request a hearing challenging Williams's guilt. The date was set for August 21st. But days before the August 21st hearing, new tests revealed that the DNA found on the knife belonged to members of the prosecutor's office. With no DNA evidence pointing to any alternative suspects, the lawyers reached a compromise with the prosecutor's office. Williams would enter a new no-contest plea to first-degree murder in exchange for a life sentence without parole. A no-contest plea is not an admission of guilt but is treated as such for the purpose of sentencing. Judge Bruce Hilton approved the agreement, as did Gale's family. However, Republican Attorney General Andrew Bailey appealed, leading the state Supreme Court to block the agreement and order Hilton to conduct an evidentiary hearing. Advertisement. Prosecutor excluded a potential black juror because of how similar they were, saying, "They looked like they were brothers."
Oh, stop it.
Familial brothers, he continued. "I don't mean black people." He also mentioned that the knife had already been tested and that it was not recognized at the time that touch could leave DNA traces on evidence. Experts say that racism is a significant issue in the U.S. and could have played a role in this case. If I'm representing some white person who kills a black person, it's relatively easy to get them off, Clive Stafford Smith, a human rights lawyer and director of the UK charity 3DC told Al Jazeera. Advertisement. But if it's a black person who kills a white person, it is vastly harder. And that's totally racism. And the other element of it with Marcellus, of course, was that the prosecutor got rid of the blacks from the jury.
Oh, wow.
So you have this white jury judging a black man. What was ruled on September 12th? On September 12th, Hilton ruled that the first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would remain in place, stating that Williams's arguments had all been previously dismissed. The state Supreme Court upheld this decision on Monday. Governor Michael
Yeah, it's
Parson,
sad.
a Republican, turned down Williams's request for clemency. We hope this gives finality to a case that has languished for decades, revictimizing his family. No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible. Advertisement. He was convicted primarily on the word of two witnesses who testified against him. The sentence was finalized, and officials moved forward with the execution. What were Williams's last moments? Officials said that Williams's last meal included chicken wings and tater tots. He had his final visit with Imam Jalahi Qasem, whom Williams used to follow, from approximately 1600 hours to 1730 GMT. At about 2250 GMT, witnesses, including Williams's son and two of his lawyers, were escorted to the prison's viewing area. Karen Pajaman, spokesperson for the Missouri Department of Corrections, said. No one was present on behalf of the Gale family. Advertisement. At
Missouri, that's the
2300 hours
state.
o'clock his chest rose and fell about 6 times and he showed no further movement. Williams was pronounced dead at 23:10 GMT, according to Pajaman. Joseph Amreen, who was exonerated 2 decades ago after spending years on death row, speaks at a rally to support Missouri death row inmate Marcellus Williams. File, Jim Salter/AP. What's the current situation of the death penalty in the U.S.? Williams's case underscores the risks of potentially executing an innocent person. Death Penalty Information Center, at least 200 individuals have been wrongly convicted and sentenced to death since 1973. Inmates in 5 states are scheduled to be executed in a week. The first execution took place on Friday in South Carolina, and 2 dead on Tuesday evening, including Williams. Advertisement. In South Carolina, Freddie Owens died by lethal injection, during the state's first execution in 13 years. Williams was the 3rd inmate executed in Missouri
Yeah,
this
there was
year and the
4 of them.
100th since the state reinstated the
that was
death
supposed to be
penalty in
taped on a live.
1989. According to a report by the Associated Press, if the 2 remaining executions in Alabama and Oklahoma are carried out this week, it will mark the first time in 20 years that 5 executions have occurred within a 7-day period. Currently, 48 executions have been scheduled by 11 states for 2024, and 16 have been carried out, according to the Death Penalty Information Center. The real issue is not that many people are being sentenced to death now, Stafford Smith explained. The problem is you've got this massive death row. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, currently, 2,241 men and women are on state or federal death rows across the U.S. or face the possibility of being sentenced to death in new death penalty trials. Some of the cases are decades old, like Williams, who was sentenced 23 years ago. According to Stafford Smith, there is no mechanism to meaningfully assess whether we got the wrong person, let alone whether the trial is fair. It's just inevitable. If you have over 2,000 people on death row and you don't have a system for assessing the validity of their death sentences that's meaningful, then there's going to be a bloodbath, Stafford Smith said. Al Jazeera podcasts. Fears of regional conflict grow, Missouri execution sparks outrage.
Okay. All right. So the bit I'm going to show also is this bit. Hold on, let me bring him up. Oh, he went to another screen. Okay, I have to bring him from another place. Hold on. Let me go to the other bit. Oops. What's going on? Oh. Hold on, give me a minute. Where's the sound? Oh. Oh, there's no sound. There's no sound on it. Okay, so last statement. Offender Williams said, I would like to submit the following as my last statement. All praise is due to Allah in every situation. That was his last sentence. They said, hold on. Hi, Brown Sugar. Hold on. Let me see. I can get. I want his, because his son also talks as well. Let me see if I can get his son. Oh, it's denied me. Okay, how am I going to get his son? See, I can get his son. Oh, okay. He spoke to a newspaper. His son spoke to a newspaper. Okay. All right. He spoke to a newspaper, so I'm going to get that going. So my screen's moving a little slow. I hope it's not moving slow on that end. I hope you all can see it properly. Hold on. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. We want to get the sons. Okay, give us a minute. Okay. The sun, this is the sun. If I can get the, because I can't get his view.
Marcellus Williams' son reveals heartbreaking final demand ahead of father's execution. By Melissa Koenig for DailyMail.com. Published, 2312, September 24, 2024. Updated, 1202, September 25, 2024. Email. Death row inmate. In an interview with KS, death row inmate Marcellus Williams' son has revealed his heartfelt demand for the United States Supreme Court ahead of his father's execution in Missouri Tuesday night. In an interview with KSDK News, Marcellus Williams Jr. said he is praying for a miracle to halt his 55-year-old father's scheduled execution for the 1998 murder of Felicia LaChagale, a newspaper reporter who was found stabbed to death in her home. I hope Allah wishes to free my father from his enslavement and spare his life, Williams Jr. said. He added that he wants the U.S. Supreme Court to see this as a murder on their behalf, and this is wrong. I believe my father is truly innocent and they need to take a closer look. Marcellus Williams, 55, is scheduled to be executed in Missouri Tuesday night. Trending. State set to execute 5 death row inmates this week. 292 viewing now. How EastEnders gangster mowing down mother led to cricketing heroics. 20.2K viewing now.
Oh,
Missouri death row
yeah.
inmate Marcellus Williams is executed. 2K viewing now.
It's looking at the
Williams' original trial in 2001 have said that Williams broke into Gail's home on August 11, 1998, heard water running in the shower and grabbed a butcher knife. When she came downstairs, Gail was stabbed 43 times and her purse and her husband's laptop were stolen. Authorities said Williams then stole a jacket to conceal blood on his shirt, prompting his girlfriend at the time to ask him why he would wear a jacket on a hot day. That girlfriend later reported that she saw the stolen laptop in Williams' car and he sold it to a neighbor a day or two later. Prosecutors also cited testimony from Henry Cole, who shared a jail cell with Williams in 1999 when Williams was in prison on unrelated charges. Cole told prosecutors Williams confessed to the killing and offered details about it. But defense attorneys countered by saying both Williams' girlfriend and Cole were convicted of felonies and wanted a $10,000 reward for information about Gail's death. Felicia Lisha Gale, a newspaper reporter who was found stabbed to death in her home on August 11, 1998. Missouri doc announced the execution of Marcellus Williams. Loaded, 0%. Progress, 0%. Midnight. Previous. Play. Skip. Mute. Current time. Midnight. Slash. Duration time. 2:15. Questions have since emerged about the integrity of that trial, which lead to Williams' conviction. His attorneys have noted that a black juror was excluded from the jury pool, which comprised 11 white people and one black juror, prompting an investigation into the case under former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, who halted Williams' execution indefinitely. He formed a board of former judges to review the case and to determine whether Williams should be granted clemency. The board investigated Williams' case for the next 6 years, but it was abruptly shut down under current Governor Michael Parson. Williams' attorneys are now arguing to the U.S. Supreme Court that by terminating the investigation, Parson trampled upon Williams' right to due process. The governor's actions have violated Williams' constitutional rights and created an exceptionally urgent need for the court's attention, the lawyers argued in a petition to stay the execution. They went on to note that even the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office announced earlier this year that there were constitutional errors in Williams' original trial, including the removal of one prospective black juror due to race. His attorneys are now arguing Missouri Governor Michael Parson trampled upon Williams' due process rights by disbanding a board that was reviewing his case. We have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to stay Marcellus Williams' execution on Tuesday based on a revelation by the trial prosecutor that he removed at least one black juror before trial based on his race, said Tricia Rojo Bushnell, an attorney for Mr. Williams. We were astonished to learn that part of the reason for striking a juror was because the juror was a young black man with glasses, so that he and Mr. Williams looked like they were brothers.
That part got
Under
me, man.
our Constitution,
They look like brothers.
there is a right to a fair trial before a jury of our peers, she noted. The prosecutor removed this juror because he looked like Mr. Williams' peer. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell has confessed constitutional error due to this racial bias during jury selection. We hope the Supreme Court will stay Mr. Williams' execution based on this new evidence of racial bias and the other serious doubts about the integrity of Mr. Williams' conviction. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney Wesley Bell raised concerns about the DNA evidence on the butcher knife as he requested a hearing challenging Williams' guilt earlier this year. Representative Bush urges M.O. Gov. Parson to stop Marcellus Williams' execution.
It's political as well.
Loaded, 0%. Progress, 0%. Midnight.
It's okay, I think my thing, something wrong with my thing.
Play. Skip. Mute. Current time. Midnight. Slash.
I think I'm playing the same
duration
thing
time.
Hold on.
1:02.
I think I'm playing
also raised concerns about the DNA evidence on the butcher knife as he requested a hearing challenging Williams' guilt earlier this year. He said that the evidence indicated that someone else's DNA was on the murder weapon. But just days before an August 21st hearing, new testing showed the DNA evidence was spoiled because members of the prosecutor's office touched the knife without gloves before the original 2001 trial. Attorneys with the Midwest Innocence Project then reached an agreement with the prosecutor's office under which Williams would enter a no-contest plea.
I played that one before. Okay, I played it twice. That's what I did. I played it twice. I didn't realize. Okay. Hold on. The jury was unfair. One. There's people making memes about this guy. That's very sick. They're doing memes about him and everything. It's weird to me. Yes, that is sad. Hi Passion Lisa. Hi Brown Sugar. Hi Medusa. The jury alone is unfit. Yes. No, Medusa, I wear glasses too. I fully understand. Okay, yeah. The fact that they said that how one of the black guy looked like he was related to him. That was a bit ridiculous to me. And I'm going to get hi Blanca. Yeah, they made a memes about him. I just seen it just now. I just saw it just now. It's kind of disgusted I am. How you doing, Blanca? Yeah, so yeah, they made a memes about him. They made one like they are making fun of him in that situation. Remember the George Stenton, forgot his name, the little boy that got executed. He didn't have a chance in hell. He was only like 13, I think. This is Missouri. This is the court of Missouri. And there is still there is a racial thing going on. That's a racial thing. The Innocence Project tried to intervene, but he was like 1 day from execution. It was 1 day. I think he didn't really say much on the interview. He just sat there. He didn't say nothing. This is Marcellus. This is his son here that's about to talk. I'm gonna play this one.
How does hope apply to where you are right now in life?
Like I hope a miracle happens. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's all I wish is to free my father from abundant enslavement and spare his life.
What would you say to the Supreme Court if you had the opportunity to testify on behalf of your dad?
I would try to make them see that this is a murder on their behalf and this is wrong, you know. And I believe my father is truly innocent and they need to take a closer look.
Have you allowed yourself to even get to Tuesday right now?
Yeah, I already put it inside my body that I would be a witness to the execution. I'm standing firm and show my dad he's not alone if this what it comes to. And I'm ready for it. My mindset, my spirit, strong. Like I'm doing this for my dad. It's bigger than me. So for me to be there in that time, if it comes to that, it's like an honor. I'm gonna see him off. So if this is the way that he going out, we already made peace.
Whoops, sorry, my mic wasn't on. That's a deep one, you know. Hear what he said, he's gonna be there right by his side as his dad breathes his last breath. Yeah. And the guy gave himself to Islam as well. He is also an imam in the prison as well. No, they didn't. They lethal injection. That's what they did to him. I want to put this on the butcher's back block to expose the lies, but it's too sensitive because it's still new. Yes, it's very new. It's very, very new. Marcellus, like they messed with the evidence. So the evidence was messed up. Loads of people's touched it because of what to call it, what they said, a press lady got unalived. So because she is a Caucasian, that was one of the things was already against him already. On top of that, the forensic was interfered with. There was a lot with the forensic. The forensic itself. Let me see if I can get the forensic. The forensic itself was interfered with. If I can get it, I doubt I can get it. Oh, I don't think I can get it. Anyway, that was interfered with as well. So yeah, there's a lot around this. This is political. Hold on. Right. I'm gonna go to what's this one? I'm just popping up screens like crazy. So this was on the CBS. This is 1 hour ago they released this one. So I'm just gonna be popping up screens. I'm just gonna be putting up a variety of information. Okay. Let me see.
1998 murder of Felicia Gale on Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, at Eastern Reception and Diagnostic Correctional Center in Bonne Terre, Missouri. We hope this gives finality to a case that has languished for decades, re-victimizing Miss Gale's family over and over again.
Yeah.
No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible.
Yes.
2 decades of judicial proceedings,
yes, it's political.
and more than 15 judicial hearings upheld his guilty conviction.
Between the Republicans
Thus,
and the Democrats.
The order of execution has been carried out.
It's between the Republicans and the Democrats because one changed the law. I think one did change the law a little bit. Let me go look at the thing again. It is definitely a political statement going on. It's like similar to Tookie Williams and the one in Florida was Swartz. You know that actor. Can't say his name wrong. It's similar to that. Hold on, I'm trying to find the Democrats because it is to do with that. Very much so. It is political. And there was other men. There's a couple other men who was on death row with him as well. But they're in different states. Right. There's a map of it's not going to show very clearly. It's not going to show very clearly. I was going to show the map of it. Let me see. It's political. Yeah. Very much so. I don't see how they can sleep at night. They sleep very well at night, but oh gosh. Oh, my screen's small. Hold up. My screen's messing up again. They sleep very well at night, brown sugar. Oh, it's playing about my thing's being sensitive. Oh, is it moving? Hold on, I think it's stuck. My screen's frozen. Yeah, it is. They can't sleep at night. They should. Let me see. I could show you guys. They should have never executed Tookie. Yes, Tookie was political. He was political because it was to do with showing the gangs the power of what they can do. Remember, lynching was done to put fear into people's hearts, into the minds of Black folk. It's a post trauma. That's what post-trauma syndrome. That's what they were putting in their mind. It's similar to the George Floyd being unalived to show that the power is still over certain people because they can do it, because these men have no say in the matter. You know what I mean? men in death row. There's a lot of black men in death row. There's a lot of black and white men in death row, okay? But the majority is black men. They don't give, yes, they don't. Gavin Newsom is destroying Kelly. I don't know who that is. Stay safe and your head swivel. Blanca. Yeah, Blanca's on some deep thing. So they attack her because she's a truth reader. I don't know about Neo. I wish Neo would appear as well, because even she sometimes does be very close. I stay 10 toes ahead. Trust me. I mean, will tell I can always sense when something is coming. Yeah, the mayor. Yes. And it is legit psychic. Psychic, yes, it is. And Tookie Williams, I think Tookie Williams and the Central Park 5 is another one. Yeah, that is a very, very political thing, what they did to the Central Park 5. That's why when Yusuf stood up to Trump, I applaud him for it, because Corey went through a lot. He went to an adult prison, Corey Wise, an adult prison. A lot happened to Corey Wise within that prison, because even when you watch it on the story, right, because Trump wanted them executed originally, and I think he got overthrown because they would have passed innocently, all right. And instead, what he did, he sent 15 and 12-year-olds and all that to adult prisons, right? Because of what happened to a Caucasian lady as well, right? So that there's a political aspect to everything within these in these realms. That's why I don't really touch politics sometimes, because it gets very deep. It's a dirty wormhole. Once you step into that wormhole, there's no return after that. There's even over here there was a lot of political things. I mean, they didn't use death row over here, but prison was one of the biggest things. They will throw youngsters into prisons. George, I always forget his name. I shouldn't forget his name. He was very young. He was trialed by jurors who is not mixed. It wasn't a mixed juror. He didn't have a chance in hell. Diddy is guilty, but his timing is political. Yes, passion. It is a very on that level, but in truth, Diddy would have got taken in any time anyway for what he was doing anyway, because he was informing as well, probably on people. He's probably doing a lot. I'm going to say the allegedly, because if I don't say the allegedly, I'm going to have to put up one thing saying allegedly, because there's a lot going on the arena. But like I said, I try not to play with the political arena, because it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to understand. Once you understand Black history of America, England, you understand how they use the powers entitlement, whatever they got to do. Marcellus, last Sunday is when I saw his stuff come up. To be honest, I was gonna do a build on him for a long time, but then yesterday I see it was one day I think it was. Then next thing I know, I see he was executed. So I'm like, but he was appealing because he was on the Innocent Project program as well. So he didn't have a chance to even plead his innocence. If it was like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even get a chance to plead his rights as a human being. Let me see. Let me see if they did an interview with him. Did they do the interview with Marcellus? They must have done an interview with him. So we can hear him talk. Is there an interview with him? There's no interview with him. He doesn't even get a chance to talk his side of the story. Today I speak to a man in State Missouri. I think this one's it. Hold on. Okay, there's no interview with Marcellus whatsoever. I'm looking, I can't see none. I'm looking right now. So if we hear silence, that's me looking. I'm looking to see if there's an interview with him. If he's saying anything. Is there anything? There's no interview. There's loads of videos made about him though. Oh, there was protesters outside of it as well, which is what they said. Hold on, let me look. He did speak to somebody, but the person's talking what he probably told him. Is this him talking? Let me see if this is him talking. Oh, man. Come on. Behave. Trying to make you bigger. Okay. Oops. Oh, my word. I keep doing this. Sorry, I keep bopping the wrong thing. Oh, wow. You lot said I'm saying a lot. You lot say, hold on a minute. Hold on. I want us to hear him talk. Oh, you have a Russian guy, Blanca? Go, Blanca, go. Okay, but Camilla, she don't even like black people. Yeah, I keep seeing stuff about Camilla. I keep seeing stuff about her. I mean, you are there in the fire, so I can't even, I can understand a little bit of what's going on. Hold on, did I miss out some of the chat? Won't go up. Oh my word, it's playing about. Hold on. No, the cool house they do must stay safe. Hold on. The governor of Missouri. What did I miss? Anyone who has signed a deal to be in the limelight is brought to pay by the gestures. Yeah. Everyone in power, bloodline, their lies. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Okay. What did I miss, guys? Our kids more like my husband. And that's why we go so hard, because we know they are going to have issues when people find out they are black Puerto Ricans. Oh, that's a nice mix. That's different. Anyways, hold on. Let me play Marcellus, okay? I was just seeing what you guys are saying in the chat. Where is it?
Whatever, so I already been right there at that moment. And you know what I'm saying? There's nothing changed about it. You know, I'm still, like I said before, I don't believe in the system, the criminal justice system. I don't believe in it, you know what I'm saying, to that degree. But I know that it can be used for good as well. So if good come out of it for me and for my family and for all those that's been supporting me, then all praise be to Allah. There's a little supplication that the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he used to say, oh Allah, if life is good for me, then give me life. If death is good for me, then give me death. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? I say the same supplication. So yeah, I'm at peace, of course.
Contributors are their own and not the view of the Hill. Was an innocent man just executed in Missouri? By Kimberly Well, opinion contributor, September 25, 24, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Marcellus Williams was executed by lethal injection in Missouri yesterday after Governor Mike Parson, R., the Missouri Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court all refused to save his life. Prosecutors and the victim's family urged that he be spared based on DNA evidence showing that Williams was in fact
DNA
innocent.
evidence. This is spare
The legal
him.
stopgaps for preventing such a tragedy all failed, underscoring a gaping hole in American criminal law, a mechanism for ensuring that people possessing proof of innocence do not lose life or liberty at the hands of the government. On August 11, 1998, Felicia Gale, a former reporter for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, was found stabbed to death at her home outside St. Louis. Forensic evidence found at the scene included fingerprints, footprints, hair, and DNA on a butcher knife. The footprints and DNA did not match those of Williams, and the fingerprints were lost by the police. Williams was nonetheless convicted of murder based on two jailhouse witnesses who said Williams confessed to them. In exchange for their testimony against Williams, both secured reward money and shorter sentences in their own cases. In addition, 6 of the 7 potential jurors who were black were stricken from the jury pool. In 2015, the Missouri Supreme Court stayed the death sentence. 2 years later, then Gov. Eric Greitens, R., granted Williams a reprieve just hours before his execution, based on new DNA taken from the weapon. Numerous scientific experts concluded the DNA could not have belonged to Williams. Greitens appointed a board to investigate Williams's request to permanently commute his sentence to life in prison. But when Parson assumed the governorship in 2023, he immediately disbanded the board before it could issue a final report, stating that it was time to move forward with the execution. Meanwhile, upon learning that the knife had been contaminated by a former prosecutor who handled it without gloves, St. Louis County prosecutors offered Williams an Alford plea, whereby he could plead guilty without admitting to the crime, thereby commuting his sentence to life in prison. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, R., and the state Supreme Court both blocked the deal, and Parson later denied his clemency request. On Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court refused to stay his execution. Statistics confirm the disturbing fact that America executes innocent people and that in many cases, their convictions were tainted by racial prejudice. According to the Death Penalty Information Center, at least 200 people who were sentenced to death since 1973 were later found to be innocent after they were retried with more experienced counsel, different juries, and access to scientific evidence. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, moreover, as of 2016, judging from exonerations, innocent black people are about 7 times more likely to be convicted of murder than innocent white people. What's in place under the law to stall or even stop such injustices? Not much. Although the Eighth Amendment to the Constitution bans cruel and unusual punishment, the Supreme Court held in 1976 in Gregg v. Georgia that the death penalty does not qualify as cruel or unusual and is therefore constitutional. This came 4 years after the court reached the opposite conclusion in Furman v. Georgia, finding that the death penalty constituted cruel and unusual punishment, a ruling that itself broke from prior precedent tolerating the death penalty to some degree or another. A sentence can be challenged for other reasons by 2 means: on direct appeal, meaning an automatic appeal of a conviction and sentence to a higher court, or by filing a separate civil action for what's called a writ of habeas corpus. Originating in 1215 through the Magna Carta, habeas corpus is a Latin term meaning that you have the body. A habeas petition challenges the prisoner's detention or confinement rather than their conviction, which can be especially important when the opportunity for raising issues on direct appeal has expired. Williams filed 2 habeas petitions, one based on ineffective assistance of counsel and the other seeking DNA testing on the knife's handle. Both were summarily denied. The new DNA evidence showing that Williams could not have committed the crime was discovered later. But even if that formed the basis of a habeas petition, it might not have been enough. In the 1993 case Herrera v. Collins, the Supreme Court held that a prisoner on death row could not obtain habeas corpus relief based on new evidence that he was actually innocent unless he could also show that his constitutional rights were separately violated at some point in the underlying state criminal proceeding by juror misconduct or improperly admitted evidence, for example. As Justice Antonin Scalia wrote in a dissenting opinion in the 2009 decision in Re Davis, the court has never held that the Constitution forbids the execution of a convicted defendant who has had a full and fair trial but is later able to convince a habeas court that he is actually innocent. Somewhat remarkably, in his majority opinion in Herrera, Chief Justice Williams raised the possibility of a pardon to rationalize this harsh result. Executive clemency has provided the fail-safe in our criminal justice system, he wrote. It is an unalterable fact that our judicial system, like the human beings who administer it, is fallible. But history is replete with examples of wrongfully convicted persons who have been pardoned in the wake of after discovered evidence establishing their innocence. In Missouri, innocence can provide the basis for a pardon. Yet despite the evidence of his innocence and the support of prosecutors and Gale's family, Williams did not receive a pardon from the governor. Although known as a prolific pardoner, Parson had denied approximately 2,400 requests in Missouri while granting 618 pardons and 20 commutations as of November 2023. Because it is impossible to appeal a pardon decision to a higher authority, Williams's very life, like those of thousands like him across the nation, hung on the whims of a single person. In many states, governors do not possess the extent of unilateral authority that Parson has. But that fact only limits the pardon as a safety valve for wrongful convictions. With habeas corpus relief mostly unavailable despite proof of innocence, this means that the U.S. is jailing, and even executing, too many of the wrong people, while the prison system costs on average $80 billion a year.
Yes, it's happened
This
before.
heads we win, tails you lose system of justice has no place in modern America, when technological advances could be employed to minimize the number of people paying high prices for crimes they did not commit. It will take the will of the people to care enough to insist on reform. Kimberly Well is author of the new book Pardon Power, How the Pardon System Works and Why.
Okay.
Tags death penalty Marcellus Williams Mike Parson Missouri Pardon Power Supreme Court. Copyright 2024 Nexter Media Inc. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, rewritten, or redistributed. More criminal justice news. See all. Opinion. Bail reform needed to keep violent offenders off the streets. By Rep. Scott Fitzgerald, RWIS, opinion contributor.
Okay, did I stop it? I think I did. Okay, so there was also a rally that was at. I read everything that you said, Blanca. Yes, there. He, yes, it's one. It's his one. His one is very much like the Tookie Williams. You know what I mean? It's more come under that. A man tries to change his life, tries to change how he is, trying to change by doing positive stuff while in prison to come out and probably do different stuff as well. And then they get taken out of this world. Yes. I'm going to speak on the spiritual hygiene again today before I make a video. Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's important. But I have been feeling tired. So you're on the button there. I'm going to play this one as well. I think it's this one. Which one is it? Is that one? Can't see the screen. Hold on. Let me see. I haven't got the right one. Oh, it's this one. Okay. Where did it go? Oh, that's not it. Where's my screen gone? Oh, my screen went. Hold on. I'm trying to find where I'm at. Innocence claim. Innocence claim. This one. Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. I hit the wrong one.
Conviction. Tonight, attorneys for Marcellus Williams tell us they are still fighting to keep him off death row. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
I'm Ann Allred in for Mike Bush. Williams was convicted of killing former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Felicia Gale. Our Justina Cornell has been following the back and forth legal battle and joins us in the newsroom with the very latest. Justina?
Well, the biggest question right now is what's next? Marcellus Williams may be out of legal options, and this fight right now is against time.
Always a person of immense faith, and he, holds to that.
She's describing her friend Marcellus Williams. Michelle Smith is also the co-founder for Missourians to Abolish the Death Penalty. She's been pushing for Williams' freedom. The death row inmate has claimed innocence for the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale.
In today's understanding of the evidence, Prosecutor Bell does not think that this would have been a case that his office would have brought forward or that should have been brought forward for conviction.
However, a St. Louis County judge handed down a decision Thursday. He ruled that Marcellus Williams' death sentence and murder conviction would not be vacated or set aside.
I know that the victim's family, Gale's family, has stated that they are against the death penalty.
The judge who made this decision is also the same judge who signed off in an Alford plea a week prior, which would have spared Williams from the death penalty. General appealed the plea. There was an evidentiary hearing a couple of weeks ago. On Thursday, a judge ruled there wasn't any new clear and convincing evidence, and attorneys failed to demonstrate any basis to find him innocent. We asked one legal expert about next steps.
It seems he exhausted those things now, but the court has just ruled again. So the question now, does he have any appealable rights after that? Because the court just ruled. I don't know. I think, in my opinion, it's a long shot.
Clemency could be on the table, as it's a race against the clock.
Clemency comes from the governor of the state of Missouri, and I'm afraid to say that closely aligned with the AG's office. I think it's going to be very difficult.
I know that people who of faith believe in miracles, and our governor says he is a person of faith.
Williams' attorney said they will continue pursuing every possible option to prevent his execution. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell also sent a long statement, but said he will continue to work to prevent an execution.
They said all that, right? Listen now, they said that they was going to prevent an execution, but yes, an execution still was carried out. They didn't prevent it. So that means it was going to happen regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's like they're saying they was going to prevent it, want to prevent it, going to prevent it, going to prevent it. They didn't want to prevent it. They didn't want to prevent it. It was on the table. Like one day before it got publicized. Like then everybody started talking about it, kind of talking about, but not everybody's talking about it. But it should be spoken about because it is to do with the political system, the political chains of power in America, the Democrats and the Republicans. That's all this is about. This is playing with people's lives. Yes, there is some wicked people on death row, wicked, non-remorseful people, no innocent people on death row. There is, but there is people who turn around to become better people, do better. Like, you know, they come out, they start talking about where they've been, and they go and they change other people's lives. These are the people that get stopped in the process. These are the people, okay, he did do wrong, okay, but then at the same time, right, the forensic was messed up. They said it twice in every single thing that I pulled up. They said the forensic was interfered with, right? The laptop thing, they took a laptop or something from where he was, etc. And then on the news they're saying, oh, it should have, they're trying to prevent him being executed. There's trying, or so his life was in the balance anyway. It was like life or death situation anyway. He wouldn't have had a chance. And because of who he is, sometimes it's down to education, sometimes it's down to whatever. People do not, some people are not very well educated, but being that he was Muslim and all, maybe there was writing loads of appeal letters, all sorts of stuff, because you know that they have prison lawyers as well, right? So yeah, Wade, he's a wicked man. Wade Wilson's very wicked. I'm supposed to do about his tats, because I even though you told me about his tats, but I was gonna take a look at them and then go into it a little more, because I wanted to explore a little bit of Wade Wilson, because I see he's non-remorseful. He's a non-remorseful person. When I did the build on him the other day on the Dark Side Ocean, yeah, I mean, that's a non-remorseful person. He's all about his ego. He's all about manipulating people. This man doesn't give that. Even though like you cannot tell a character until they actually go out into the world, into the living space, then you can see how they work, right? But he obviously was trying to turn his life around. That's what I'm getting from this. I could be reading it wrong. You could tell me I'm incorrect. That's what I'm hearing, right? His son even said that how, right, he was trying to change whatever. So I mean, like I said, I'm going by what I'm hearing and listening. Like, you know what I mean? I try not to jump into the deep end of stuff. If something pops up on my timeline and it pops up too many times, there's a reason for that. I have to go and talk about it. That's how I feel. Sometimes it's something trying to tell you that you need to bring it to the forefront at that time. Even if I do go off somewhere and try and talk about something else, I always get brought back to that thing. So yeah, and there is a kind of a spiritual warfare going on in a way, but it's like people don't want to see that for what it is, right? Because when you're reasoning with people come in all different walks of life, all different religious heads and the religious doctrines. They're not open to the ethos system per se. They will look down on the ethos system, the Christianity and stuff like that. They will look down on Muslim Some like even on, I can say Love After Lockup, when the guy went to the Muslim community, he seemed more at peace. It was the lady that sent him back to prison, the girl he was with. So in some cases, Islam does work because it's supposed to be a peaceful religion. Okay. And as much as people say they're dogma and stuff like that, yes, it is thingy religion, but in some cases there is bits to it that make sense. Praying 5 times a day and giving yourself, humble yourself to Allah is a lot. Is and it's also an internal thing, because people go through spiritual world internally within themselves. They're never at peace. They're always fighting within themselves. This man doesn't give me that energy. He doesn't show me. Yes, and there's Muslim gangs in prison. Yes, there is. There's a lot of Muslim gangs in prison. There's the Moors and the Sunni Muslims as well. The Moors Science Temple, the Moorish Science Temple, and the Sunni Muslims. Yes, that's why they convert because it's to do protection as well. That's my understanding. Yeah. So yeah. I understand where you're coming from on that side. Wade is a karmatic as the women drawn to him. Yes, he's very much so. He's like it's like the devil. You know how they say Lucifer was beautiful and alluring? He's like that. He gives me that kind of Lucifer energy. He's alluring. Like the women is very intrigued by him. That's why every woman that comes towards Wade has the same energy, different vessels. He keeps coming out as the devil and the emperor and the king. Oh, see, I didn't even read your thing, and I see that now. The refute spirituality, yes, it's all been accurate. The Muslims in prison are merely gang, though. Yeah, they are very much gang. Alafia, look at me. Yes, that's why they convert. Yes, they are going to protect each other. My husband broke it down to me. Yes, that's what they do. They protect each other while they're in prison, because and also some of them write letters. They're like lawyers. They do different functions as well. Yeah. And it's similar to, I would say, if you watch Oz, because Oz is the most grittiest thing. That's Oz. And there's one where a guy was in prison and he became his own lawyer. That is a real life story right there. All right. When I checked it out, that was real. That's a real life story. The guy literally studied law, studied to become a lawyer in prison, and he fought for himself. He became his lawyer. You want to survive, you have to link up with somebody. Yes, there's that case, but not everybody is of the mindset. Like as the Purge and other movies have shown, humanity is messed up. If Armageddon was to happen tomorrow, everybody's true colors will come out. That's how I see it. The true colors will come out. That's why when they show certain movies, they are indications to what is on the what ifs and the what if nots. So that's how I look at it. Well, I have a different take when it comes to the devil. No, the devil was a beautiful angel, apparently. In it, the fallen angel, he was a beautiful angel. He's the one who was alluring, to my understanding. I don't know, I could be saying it wrong. My daughter's good at explaining this. She's really on this one, she is. What are you all picking up on, Peach? I want to know if I'm right. I haven't watched Peach. I don't watch Peach. Passion Lisa. I make it my what's to call it? I don't watch Peach. I make it my business not to watch Peach. if I was to watch Peach, I will tell you my true how I feel about her, but I don't watch her, right? I watch everybody else but her. Her mum is cool. There's nothing wrong with her mum. But on back to the subject or at hand, Marcellus, he is definitely he's on the chessboard, isn't it? The inmates are the chess pieces for the political forum, and they are being used right now as that. They're pawns on what they call them, chess pieces on the chessboard. I can't remember the word. I ain't even gonna try sound all smart and thing. True Colors are coming out now. They put it in movie. Yes, America is always the first place to get hit with everything. All the time first, then it goes down the line. Like, yeah. But yeah, you have to version because in federal prison, because it's biased off of cars, you click up by race. Yes, the Aryans, the Muslims, Hispanics, South Americans. That's what they do. That's what they do in prison because they have to keep because they keep each other safe. Sometimes even they become the thing, like the prisoner Coco. If you go over to the dark side of Ocean Yerby, prisoner Coco, he tell you what happened to him in prison. And it's not really nice to even talk about on this side of the of on this channel what he went through. He went through a lot of stuff with all the gangs, literally in prison. I don't listen to nothing. I don't listen to Peach neither. I don't watch her. They've been telling us the agenda. Get the book, the book fourth turn in every 80 year history repeats itself. Yeah, it does repeat itself. No, it's the colors and the gangs. Yes, my husband did 2 federal bids because he didn't listen to me. I knew it. Yes. So you see, so you got a deeper understanding into that system then. You know what I'm saying? So Marcellus, like as we know, let me see. Okay. I've also got information on death row information. It's supposed to be across the board of America. Let me see, I can find one across the board of America. Well, they're trying to review certain stuff too. Okay, let me see. Capital punishment in America, United States. I'm trying not to use the old precedent think. Okay, let's do this one.
Capital punishment in the United States. This article is about an overview of capital punishment amongst all jurisdictions in the United States. For capital punishment by the federal government, see capital punishment by the United States federal government. For killings without trial within the United States, see lists of killings by law enforcement officers in the United States. For killings without trial overseas, see targeted killings. In the United States, capital punishment, killing a person as punishment for allegedly committing a crime, is a legal penalty throughout the country at the federal level, in 27 states, and in American Samoa. It is also a legal penalty for some military offenses. Capital punishment has been abolished in 23 states and in the federal capital, Washington, D.C. It is usually applied for only the most serious crimes, such as aggravated murder. Although it is a legal penalty in 27 states, 19 of them have authority to execute death sentences, with the other 8, as well as the federal government and military, subject to moratoriums. As of 2023, Of the 38 OECD member countries, only 2, the United States and Japan, allow capital punishment. Taiwan is the only other advanced democracy with capital punishment, but its constitutional court could strike it down when it rules on its constitutionality by the fall of 2024. The existence of capital punishment in the United States can be traced to early colonial Virginia. There were no executions in the United States between 1967 and 1977. In 1972, the Supreme Court of the United States struck down capital punishment statutes in Furman v. Georgia, reducing all pending death sentences to life imprisonment at the time. Subsequently, a majority of states enacted new death penalty statutes, and the court affirmed the legality of the practice in the 1976 case Gregg v. Georgia. Since then, more than 8,700 defendants have been sentenced to death. Of these, more than 1,550 have been executed. At least 190 people who were sentenced to death since 1972 have since been exonerated, about 2.2% or 1 in 46. As of April 13, 2022, about 2,400 to 2,500 convicts are still on death row. The Trump administration's Department of Justice announced its plans to resume executions for federal crimes in 2019. On July 14, 2020, Daniel Lewis Lee became the first inmate executed by the federal government since 2003. 13 federal death row inmates have been executed since federal executions resumed in July 2020, all under Trump. The last and most recent federal execution was of Dustin Higgs, who was executed on January 16, 2021. On July 1, 2021, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced that a moratorium on the federal death penalty was being reinstated. As of March 2024, there were 42 inmates on federal death row. History edit. Pre-Furman history edit. The first recorded death sentence in the British North American colonies was carried out in 1608 on Captain George Kendall, who was executed by firing squad at the Jamestown colony for spying on behalf of the Spanish government. Executions in colonial America were also carried out by hanging. The hangman's noose was one of the various punishments the Puritans of the Massachusetts Bay Colony applied to enforce religious and intellectual conformity on the whole community. The Bill of Rights adopted in 1789 included the Eighth Amendment, which prohibited cruel and unusual punishment. The Fifth Amendment was drafted with language implying a possible use of the death penalty, requiring a grand jury indictment for capital crime and a due process of law for deprivation of life by the government. The 14th Amendment, adopted in 1868, also requires a due process of law for deprivation of life by any states. The Espy File, compiled by M. Watt Espy and John Ortiz Smikla, lists 15,260 constitutional law developments edit. Capital punishment was used by 6 of 50 states in 2022. They were Alabama, Arizona, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. Government executions, as reported by Amnesty International, took place in 20 of the world's 195 countries. The federal government of the United States, which had not executed a prisoner since 2003, did so in 2020, in an effort led by President Donald Trump and Attorney General William Barr. Executions for various crimes, especially murder and rape, occurred from the creation of the United States up to the beginning of the 1960s. Until then, save for a few mavericks, no one gave any credence to the possibility of ending the death penalty by judicial interpretation of constitutional law, according to abolitionist Hugo Bedeau. The possibility of challenging the constitutionality of the death penalty became progressively more realistic after the Supreme Court of the United States decided on Tro v. Dulles in 1958. The Supreme Court declared explicitly, for the first time, that the Eighth Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause must draw its meaning from the evolving standards of decency that marked the progress of a maturing society, rather than from its original meaning. Also in the 1932 case Powell v. Alabama, the court made the first step of what would later be called death is different jurisprudence, when it held that any indigent defendant was entitled to a court-appointed attorney in capital cases, a right that was only later extended to non-capital defendants in 1963, with Gideon v. Wainwright. Capital punishment suspended, 1972, edit. In Furman v. Georgia, the U.S. Supreme Court considered a group of consolidated cases. The lead case involved an individual convicted under Georgia's death penalty statute, which featured a unitary trial procedure in which the jury was asked to return a verdict of guilt or innocence and, simultaneously, determine whether the defendant would be punished by death or life imprisonment. The last pre-Furman execution was that of Luis Monge on June 2, 1967. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court struck down the impositions of the death penalty in each of the consolidated cases as unconstitutional in violation of the 8th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution. The Supreme Court has never ruled the death penalty to be per se unconstitutional. The 5 justices in the majority did not produce a common opinion or rationale for their decision, however, and agreed only on a short statement announcing the result. The narrowest opinions, those of Byron White and Potter Stewart, expressed generalized concerns about the inconsistent application of the death penalty across a variety of cases, but did not exclude the possibility of a constitutional death penalty law. Stewart and William O. Douglas worried explicitly about racial discrimination in enforcement of the death penalty. Thurgood Marshall and William J. Brennan Jr. expressed the opinion that the death penalty was proscribed absolutely by the 8th Amendment as cruel and unusual punishment. This decision was reached by the suspicion that many states, particularly in the South, were using capital punishment as a form of legal lynching of African American males, inasmuch as almost all executions for non-homicidal rape in the southern states involved a black perpetrator, and this suspicion was fueled by cases such as the Martinsville 7, when 7 African American men were executed by Virginia in 1951 for the gang rape of a white woman. The Furman decision caused all death sentences pending at the time to be reduced to life imprisonment, and was described by scholars as a legal bombshell. The next day, columnist Barry Schweid wrote that it was unlikely that the death penalty could exist anymore in the United States. Capital punishment reinstated, 1976, edit. Further information, Gregg v. Georgia and capital punishment in Georgia, U.S. state. Instead of abandoning capital punishment, 37 states enacted new death penalty statutes that attempted to address the concerns of White and Stewart in Furman. Some states responded by enacting mandatory death penalty statutes which prescribed a sentence of death for anyone convicted of certain forms of murder. White had hinted that such a scheme would meet his constitutional concerns in his Furman opinion. Other states adopted bifurcated trial and sentencing procedures, with various procedural limitations on the jury's ability to pronounce a death sentence designed to limit juror discretion. On July 2, 1976, the U.S. Supreme Court decided Gregg v. Georgia and upheld 7-2 a Georgia procedure in which the trial of capital crimes was bifurcated into guilt, innocence, and sentencing phases. At the first proceeding, the jury decides the defendant's guilt. If the defendant is innocent or otherwise not convicted of first-degree murder, the death penalty will not be imposed. At the second hearing, the jury determines whether certain statutory aggravating factors exist, whether any mitigating factors exist, and, in many jurisdictions, weigh the aggravating and mitigating factors in assessing the ultimate penalty, either death or life in prison, either with or without parole. The same day, in Woodson v. North Carolina and Roberts v. Louisiana, the court struck down 5-4 statutes providing a mandatory.
Now, I know that is a lot of information, but this explains what is going on now. So nothing has changed from that time to this time. See, they use examples of African American men getting executed over a rape of a white woman. They used military executions, unalivings. They use various examples and the time and dates. So, and the states, Missouri, Arizona, and Mississippi, Those are the places where executions will be happening on a large basis, even if the person's innocent. That's what this is trying to explain. And though it did get pushed out a few times, because there is a list of unaliving by law enforcement officers. Oh, this is the law enforcement. Hold on, that's not the one we want, because there's different ones. Hold on. Oh yeah, the Trump administration had a lot to do with. They resumed executions in 2019, right? So most of it is to do with the Trump one as well. I'm going to go back to that one because this is where it is a political move as well.
Capital punishment in the United States.
Let's see, I can find it.
This article is about an overview of capital punishment amongst all jurisdictions in the United States. For capital punishment by the federal government, see capital punishment by the United States federal government. For killings without trial within the United States, see lists of killings by law enforcement officers in the United States. For killings without trial overseas, see targeted killings.
Okay, I can't. It's going to repeat itself all over again. I don't want it to repeat itself. But yeah, it's mostly political. It was Trump who resumed the capital punishments and brought it back. One political party took it away and another one brought it back. Okay, so I just thought I'd just play that so you can get a little insight into the kind of history summary of it all in a nutshell. The man didn't have a chance, basically. Like I said, he didn't have a chance. I'm going to end up repeating myself like 50 times, but he didn't have a chance. So I'm going to leave it right here. If I have to come back, I'll come back on this one. Hold on. Still alive. I have to come back on this one, and I'll see you in the next live video. Or, now it looks like I need to put up what I was going to put up before. Okay, so this is linking exactly what I was going to put up before all this came up. So please stay tuned. Please like the videos as well, because that helps the videos to go into the algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Yes, it can go any which way. It can go. Did I get it? It can go any which way at this point. But this one I feel was jumping at me too much. It was jumping at me too much, and obviously because it happened yesterday, he literally got unalived yesterday, literally, right? According to them, his chest rose up twice, and then he passed, right? And there is memes that is out, which is really disgusting. Okay, and it is a racial thing. Whether people care to look at it like that or not, it is. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that one. All right. I've played a few things. Please leave and comment underneath the video. That also helps as well. We can also continue this conversation in the comment section, because we all have opinions on this. We all see things differently. We all feel things differently. We all have opinions, all on different levels, all from different backgrounds. Bring forward, speak your piece. As long as it's not disrespectful, then you're cool. Otherwise, I'll delete. I would take you out off of the you'll just be deleted basically. Okay. And these conversations has to be had because sometimes the audience can be mixed. So like we can all have our say this in a reasonable way. Okay. So the guy may look like he made his peace with his God, and he wants to change his life. With that said, I'm going to leave it there before I start repeating myself again, because I repeat myself just like I repeat everything else. So, who was here? I'll go all the way up. Okay, I'm going to start from here. Medusa, Brown Sugar, Passion Lisa, Blanco. She's my residence oracle reader. There is another one, but I wish she would come in to my lives as well. There's Neo Tarot as well. She's another good lady as well. So thank you, ladies, for participating. Jan the 6th is my son's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to him. So with that said, I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to put the map of penalties, death penalties, so you can see how widespread and the political realm. If I have to do a live on the political things that plays a part in these death row situation, because they do play a big role. They do. They play a huge role in it. As well. You see, I mean, I only use 3 scenarios of it being used. Yes. So before I start talking again, I'm gonna come off, and I'll see you in the live or the video. Take care. Bye.